So as you follow along to this routine, all our sticks that we use are color coded. And if you buy yours off of Amazon or Temu or wherever you buy your tools, if you bought the same ones, they obviously don't come color coded. So I'm just gonna show you and explain which are which, just so that you know. So we don't use these first two because they're too big to use for anything, so you can just set those aside, because in most of my videos, we don't use them. And so you're left with these. So in this order, you can look, and it basically goes in this order from biggest to smallest: green, blue, white, yellow, pink, and black, down to the smallest one. Okay, so for today's color palette, I'm using these colors. So for number 1, it's the Deco Art Americana Snow White. For number 2, it's Deco Art Americana Thicket. For number 3, it's the Deco Art Americana Cranberry Wine. Number 4 is Craft Smart Rose. Number 5 is Deco Art Americana Baby Blush. And number 6 is just Craft Smart Silver. Okay, so we're gonna start with the smaller heart, and we're gonna take the palette with the 5 numbers. You're gonna open up to paint color 3, and you're gonna take the yellow stick. And you're gonna make clusters of 3 dots just around the rock. And if your paint starts to leak down the edges, you can take the pink twirly and kind of push the paint up so it doesn't leak down. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the little black stick with paint color 3 again, and we're just gonna make smaller clusters in between the big ones. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink twirly, the bigger end, with paint color 3 again, and we're gonna make even smaller clusters in between. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink twirly, bigger end, with paint color 4, and we're gonna add little green clusters in between, just everywhere.
Did you say the bigger end?
Yes, bigger end. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink twirly smaller end with paint color 4 and make tiny clusters in between. Don't worry, this is our last size down. Okay, so we're gonna set this rock aside, and we're gonna go to the other rock. And you're gonna switch the color palette you chose with 6 colors. Okay, so we're gonna take the blue stick with paint color 5. And we're gonna put it approximately in the middle of the heart. 5. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink twirly smaller end with paint color 2. And what we're gonna do is you're gonna place 1 dot as close as you can to this middle dot, and then you're gonna place 1 right across from it. Then you're gonna try and find the middle of these.
Smaller end.
Yes, smaller end. And place it to the side like this, and then 1 dot right across from that one. And then once you have those 4 dots with the same size and same color, you're gonna put 1 in between those. And then once you have those dots, you should be able to fit 1 more in between those.
Same color.
Yes, same color, same size. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink twirly bigger end with paint color 3. And you're gonna place these dots in between, but above. Can you see that? Right there. 3. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the white twirly bigger end with paint color 4. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna put a dot in between, but above. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink stick with paint color 6. And we're gonna do the same thing, except now we're gonna skip a gap. So I placed 1 there. Not gonna place 1 here. I'm gonna skip a gap and place it right there. So every other gap.
What color stick?
Stick, pink stick.
Pink sticks and color 6.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the other heart. And we're gonna come back to the other palette with the 5 paint colors. So we're gonna take the pink stick again with paint color 2. And you're gonna place the dots all facing it inside the cluster. Does that make sense? Like that.
Only the big one.
Yes, only the very big ones that we made. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the blue twirly, bigger end, with paint color 2. And we're gonna do the same thing to the smaller clusters. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink twirly, smaller end, with paint color 2, and we're gonna do the same thing to the tiny clusters. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the other heart. And we're gonna take the pink twirly, bigger end with paint color 1. So with the bigger end, you're gonna place 1 dot right there, and then you'll switch to the smaller end to walk the dots around. Okay. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink twirly with paint color 3, and we're gonna walk the dots again. So using the bigger end for this first dot, and then you'll switch to the smaller end to walk the dots. Yes, paint color 3. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink twirly smaller end with paint color 5. And we're gonna start here in between, and we're gonna drag up to the top. And then you're gonna start at that start and then go the other way. That.
Are you using the
Smaller end, yes.
5, right?
Yes, 5. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the white twirly bigger end with paint color 2. And we're just gonna place a dot right there at the base of the bigger end with paint color 2. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink stick with paint color 4. And we're gonna put it right above those dots like that. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the other rock and to the other palette too. We're gonna take the little black stick with paint color 1. And on these really big clusters, we're gonna do one more layer with paint color 1 facing on the inside like that. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the white twirly smaller end with paint color 1, and we're going to do the same thing for the smaller clusters. Okay, so we're gonna switch back to this rock. Don't forget to switch palettes. And we're gonna take the pink twirly bigger end with paint color 6. And we're gonna walk the dots. So bigger end for this first dot, and then you're gonna switch to the smaller end to walk around. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink twirly, bigger end with paint color 5, and we're gonna walk the dots again. So bigger end for this first dot, and then you're gonna switch to the smaller end to walk the dots around. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink twirly with paint color 5,
Which end?
bigger end. You're gonna place a dot there, and you're gonna pretend you're walking the dots, and also you're not gonna switch to the smaller end. You're gonna stay with the bigger end.
Just did number 5.
Color 2.
Oh, sorry. Did I do the wrong color? Yeah. Okay, so what do we do?
Yeah, pink twirly, bigger end. You're gonna walk the dots, but you're gonna walk them straight out. You're not gonna curve around, and you're gonna walk them down to this dot right here. And you're not gonna switch to the smaller end when you do it. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the yellow stick with paint color 3. And we're gonna overlap the middle dot, but you still wanna leave a sliver of the original color. Okay, like that. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the blue twirly bigger end with paint color 2. And we're gonna overlap these dots right here, still leaving a sliver of the original color. Big end. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the little black stick with paint color 3. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna place a dot right there in the bottom of this V, I guess. Then you're gonna place a dot above it, but leaving a little space in between. And then you're gonna place 2 dots to the side of it, like this, so that you end up with 4 dots. Next step, we're gonna take the little black stick. So little black stick with paint color 3, and we're gonna overlap these dots right here. Make sure you still leave a sliver of the original color. Okay, we're gonna go back to the flower rock. Don't forget to switch paint palettes. And we're gonna open up paint color 5 with the pink twirly smaller end. And we're gonna go to the leaves and give them a little darker inside like we did with the flowers.
All of them or just the medium, the bigger ones?
The bigger ones. Okay, so we're done with the flower rock. So we're gonna go back to this rock one more time. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the white twirly smaller end with paint color 3. And we're gonna go to these dots and overlap them. Next step, you're gonna take the white twirly, bigger end with paint color 6. And we're gonna go to these 4 dots here. And we're gonna overlap them and placing one, and they're all gonna be facing towards the center of the cluster, like that. And we're done.